So unless you just don't have an internet connection at all and are watching this video on a DVD you got in the mail from your grandson, you are aware that the video game industry has a feminism problem. There's a few problems, and they're all very related. Basically, there are no real good role models in games for little girls. The girls in games are all pretty much prizes or sex objects or both, or just sort of helpless damsels or, basically nothing good that makes women look strong and powerful and smart and capable. Number two, there are not many females in the, development community of video games or in the video game community as a whole. Number three, the boys in the video game community tend to be absurdly hostile to the girls. And number four, gamers get fucking furious about everything. So all of this just explodes into controversy on like a regular basis. Now, this weekend was the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco, and from what I can tell, largely it went pretty much problem-free. Everything went very smoothly. There was all kinds of, diversity events and brunches and things like that to sort of, include women and things, and everyone was really, really trying their goddamn best to not be sexist and piss everyone off. But, of course, they did. So after hosting one of those women in gaming luncheons, Microsoft had this big networking party that you see pictured here. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but these two girls in the bras and schoolgirl shirts are apparently not video game programmers. They were brought in to dance on podiums and make everyone at the party feel happy. Now, in a vacuum, this is pretty harmless, right? I mean, it's just some girls dancing at a party. It's like the oldest staple of parties since we invented alcohol. But with all that other stuff, there is, this serious problem where women feel like they are treated as decoration in the video game community. And then someone was hosting a party for the video game community and said, what should we get as decorations? Oh, I know, women. Which, even putting all those issues aside, just feels, I don't know, kind of awkward and weird. I mean, this is like a networking event. These people aren't friends. They're strangers who are trying to sort of, create professional connections. And then there's just sort of awkward women dancing in the area, and now it's like a sex thing, and now everyone's kind of turned on, and that makes people uncomfortable, and it's just bad idea in the first place. But that said, there is a deep and important part of me that just loves, hot girls, and loves the idea of like walking into a party and there's hot girls around, and when the conversation gets awkward, as it does, I can sort of look off and stare at a hot girl, and that sort of, is a thing that I can do. And first of all, it's the oldest male bonding experience there is. The sort of like, wow, that girl is hot conversation. It fucking works every time. It's a masterpiece. And that part of me feels like it may be losing this thing, because there is no real way to save this, right? You can't just add fucking sexy guys next to these girls and suddenly it's like gender equality. That's the all lives matter argument of sexism, right? There are particular historical contexts to the sexualization of women that do not apply to the sexualization of men. Not to mention the fact that most women don't really get off on seeing hot shirtless guys the way guys get off on seeing hot shirtless girls. So it's just a sort of stupid way to deal with this. So we're left with this situation where either you can have these parties with the hot girls dancing and, it pisses off the women, and that whole, thing is, which is valid, and I don't want to sound like I'm dismissing it, but it kicks up that whole hornet's nest. Or you just leave off the sexy girls at the party and, that sort of becomes a historical artifact like the boozy lunches and everything else that's in Mad Men. And so I guess the thing is, this is just the wrong context for that, right? Professional business networking event, no hot girls dancing on stage. But, nightclub or strip club or birthday party for the right guy, yeah, have some girls dancing on the stage. But when you're, a gaming company that is specifically trying to expand your audience to include women, and you are doing events like, women in gaming luncheons, what you are doing is contributing to this kind of sexist narrative that exists. So just to wrap up the controversy here, Xbox and Microsoft have absolutely said that this was a horrible mistake. They're going to handle the matter internally, but they're probably going to do some shit about it. Everyone's very upset. A bunch of tweets from important people saying this was a huge mistake. And then there's this email that one of the head Xbox guys sent to his team saying, an inclusive culture has a direct impact on the products and services we deliver and the perception consumers have of the Xbox brand and our company as a whole. That was unequivocally wrong and will not be tolerated. But I do, just for a minute, because this is who I am, want to make the counter argument. And that argument is basically, I used this picture as the thumbnail for my video, and I'm sure it's going to get a lot of views because of that. And I've had it sitting up here next to me because it's nice to look at. And the fact of the matter is, Xbox's audience is still mostly guys. And the people at this party are mostly guys. And these guys did enjoy those girls. So to a certain extent, yes, the video game industry absolutely needs to take steps in the direction of being more accommodating to women. And this was not one of those steps. But I think there also has to be some sort of, maybe not recognition or acknowledgement, but just sort of an understanding that this is an industry that was built by men for men, and that the women who are coming into a place where they don't yet belong, and they're trying to claw their way into this group. But this is a group of people. This is not, bankers or lawyers or some industry that is at the top of the social hierarchy. This is by and large a group of rejects and outcasts who have found this one community where it's their thing and they belong and they feel normal and cool. And also it's worth pointing out that these are not guys who are, Casanovas with all kinds of girls lying around. And maybe the booth babes and the podium dancers are, a special thing to them. And so a brand like Xbox that is trying to attract female talent absolutely shouldn't have done this. But I want to be clear that I see it more as a bad marketing decision than as like a moral wrong, I guess is the point I'm trying to make. And to be fair, I honestly have not seen a single feminist comment on this that like pissed me off in any way, which is extremely unusual for me. So I'm not accusing anyone involved, anyone that I've seen, of overreacting or anything. I'm just sort of thinking out loud here. But I do think it's asking a lot to say, hey, you guys should want us, so you should change your whole culture to accommodate us. It seems like it's a thing they're willing to do, and fucking bravo for you guys that you've sort of been winning that fight. All I'm asking for is a little bit of, you can call it pity if it makes you feel better, but sympathy and understanding for the guys who are already part of that culture and what you are asking them to give up for you. Because I think they'll be happy to do it as long as you keep being nice about it. So this one I think was handled perfectly. I think this is a great example of people admitting they were wrong and moving forward and progress being made. And I hope all controversies in the future can go just as wonderfully as this one. And I know they absolutely won't. So for now, good night. Have a wonderful night. And by the way, there's porn on the internet. You don't have to go to fucking nightclubs with Xbox conventions and shit like that. So just a helpful tip. All right, goodbye.